Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are good. So we've got a bit of a different video today. I thought I should introduce myself in case people click on this video that maybe don't know me. I'm Lauren, I'm a content creator, online coach, and running and hybrid training enthusiast. I've run marathons, I've done high rocks competitions, the list goes on really. Tomorrow, I'm doing my first ever aquathlon, which is a 2K swim and then a half marathon run. And I also do a lot of strength training as well. And for all of these different types of training I do, I have clocked up a lot of footwear because footwear is very important, as we all know. Your footwear can make or break an experience, especially when you're doing something such as a marathon or a half marathon because you're on your feet for a long time. And though you don't have to have all of these shoes for all your different types of training, it can make it a lot more enjoyable if you're someone that's happy to invest into your fitness. So today I'm going to be taking you through the trainers I have, my thoughts on them, what they're best for, and also what my personal current lineup is, because though I have all these shoes, I don't reach for all of them all the time. And they do all have very different purposes. So I think it's important to start with the basics to know what the different types of shoes are. So we have got trail for your trail runs. These are shoes that typically will need to be more grippy and a bit more sturdy. Then you've got everyday running trainers, which as a runner, you'll do the majority of your mileage in, and they should be a very comfortable shoe that also fit you really well and support you well, most importantly. Then you've got your race day shoes, which are your fastest type of shoes. They're lightweight and they're also the most expensive. And then something that's a bit more newer to my lineup is your functional shoe. So a shoe that kind of does it all, but we'll talk a bit more about that towards the end. So starting with your everyday shoes. Now, I've just realized my go-to is clearly black and white, and they're not the cleanest shoes, but these are just some of my everyday running trainers. I do have more, but these are the ones that I actually will wear. We'll start with one of my favorite brands, Hoka. I am a big fan of Hoka for a few reasons. One, because I'm someone with a wide foot, and from my personal experience, they're one of the best brands out there that cater to a person with a wider foot. Because a lot of brands, they do wide feet trainers, but they're always in the colorways I don't enjoy. I mean, saying that, I've literally got them in the white and the black colorways here, but Hoka do actually offer lots of different colorways in the wide fit shoes. Whereas I've noticed that's something that other brands don't do a lot of the time. The wide fit is usually a black colorway. And I don't know what it is, but putting on a pair of black trainers doesn't always make me feel the most sexy when I'm going out on a run. But we've firstly got the Hoka Gaviota 4s. Now, this is a stability shoe. It's got a stability platform in it, and I'm someone that needs stability. I do have a bit of pronation in my feet, so this is really, really beneficial for me for that reason. It's a wide fitting shoe. It feels really stable around the ankle. It's kind of lightweight. It's not my lightest weight Hoka, but I've worn this for so many miles and they're still holding up really, really well. They're on the stiffer side. They're not going to give you the most energy return when you're running. But I think for a stability shoe, that is a great everyday shoe that you can do loads of miles in. It's really, really good. They wash well. I'm a big fan of this shoe. Like, I feel confident in it. I could run any distance in this shoe, really. It's not going to help me get my fastest time, but I can always trust that I'm going to feel really, really good in this shoe. So Hoka Gaviota 4. Next, we've got the Hoka Clifton 9s. Again, these are wide fitting just because I need that for my wide feet. But they, again, are very stable around the ankle area. These are considerably lighter than the Hoka Gaviota 4s, which was one thing that I really noticed when I first put them on. They don't have a stability platform, but I find them a really good neutral shoe. They make me feel comfortable, confident, and when they are clean, they look really, really, really good with just any outfit. I actually ran a trail half marathon in these, and I think that's where we've got a lot of the wear. Part of the outsole did come off, but you know what? I've worn these for a lot of miles, and the fact that I've done a whole trail half marathon in them is quite telling. Bless them for holding up. But really great shoe, and I would definitely purchase these again. Moving on to the shoe that actually got me into running. I started my running journey back in 2020 in a pair of Ultraboost. They still have a place in the lineup. They do have some limitations, however. They feel heavier than the Hoka Clifton 9s, but lighter than the Gaviotas. The midsole of these does last the test of time, and you can see that they're still really, really chunky. The upper is what I have some issues with. It's not as stable. I wear these more as just an everyday trainer when I'm teaching, because I teach classes and I find them good as a shoe that I'll do a bit of functional training in. If I'm jumping around, they're comfortable, they're supportive enough. But if an ounce of water gets on them, and bearing in mind I live in Manchester, which is a very rainy city, they soak it right up. And that is one thing I do not love about these shoes. Just the fact that the upper is like a sock and it's so close to your foot. The second water gets on it, it's straight onto your feet, and I just don't love that. But when it's a dry day, they are good, and you can see the outsole on these is way better. And I've worn these for so many miles as well. I wear these pretty much every day when I teach, and the outsole's looking in a much better condition than the Hokas. They're a bit springier too, which Ultraboost is known for. So yeah, they're good, but they're not my go-to for a run, more for a functional class. Then we've got the Boston 12s from Adidas. Now, I do love these. I've done all of my High Rocks competitions in these, and I'll do tempo runs in them as well. They are very mucky. I wear them a lot. I'm putting them in this everyday category because I do think some people will wear them every day, but I personally would wear them maybe just on my faster sessions or on a High Rocks race day, for example, because they are a bit stiffer, they're snappier, they're gonna help you be faster, they're gonna help you get a PB. They are a tempo shoe by definition. They are part of the Adidas Adios range, which is the race day range of Adidas, and they look the part. They look like a fast shoe. They're really lightweight. They've got these 2 layers of midsole. You've got a lightweight foam, which is in the shoe that I'm gonna show you in a minute, which is my marathon shoe. And then they've got this like firmer midsole foam underneath. So the combination makes it stable, but also responsive, and they're nice and snappy. And I just don't think you can go wrong with a pair of Boston 12s. I would 100% repurchase these. And as with all the Adidas trainers, the outsole definitely stands out to me compared to all of the other brands. Great shoe, and also a really good price point. On to a newer brand now. This is a Rad shoe. Now, you might know Rad for the shoe that I'll show you in a bit. This is their running trainer, and they sent me these the other week, and I have been wearing them so much. Not gonna lie, I was reaching for the Hoka Gaviotas every day, and then these came, and now I've been wearing these every day. And though I've not had them for as long, I'm quite in love with these. I would consider these very similar shoes. However, the Rad feels more stable and it feels more durable too than the Hoka. I think weight-wise, the Rad might be a little bit heavier, but you get a lot more stability from this shoe. And I don't believe it's a stability shoe by definition, but it feels really stable around the ankle. I feel really secure in it. My foot just slips in. Step in is just chef's kiss from Rad, and kind of was not expecting to love them so much because they are a newer brand. I just kind of assumed that innovation might not be there, but yeah, they feel really good. They're good for my wide feet. Even though they're not a wide fitting shoe, they fit me really well. And you can see I've worn these a lot, but they've got this mesh upper that is really breathable, and they've got this toe cap so they don't get super dirty at the toe like some of the other shoes might. So I imagine that if I put these in the wash, they'll come out looking nice and sparkly fresh, and there won't be that little mucky toe area that you get a lot of the time. The midsole is just one type of foam. It's called swell foam. It's quite firm, but I find it really comfortable. It feels really molded to my feet, and a bit like the other everyday shoes other than the Bostons, these are kind of stiff as well. So they're not gonna help you get a PB, but they're good for your everyday mileage. I think these shoes are just really supportive, great go-tos, and I think the outsole will last a lot better than the Hokas because I've already done a lot of distance in these and they're still looking really, really good. So that's the everyday running trainers. On to racing shoes. I'm aware they're all Adidas except for the one pair of Pumas. And I'm gonna be honest, it is because I used to work for Adidas and I got them all for free, but I do really believe in these shoes, and I had so many more Adidas trainers for all the different categories, but I've just built out my own trainer portfolio because I'm not so much of a fan of Adidas in the other categories. However, when it comes to Adizero, oh my gosh, amazing, amazing. And you guys need to get to know. But we do have one competitor. These are your Puma Deviate Nitro 3s. Now, they're really lightweight and they've got all the things a speed shoe needs, including a really soft and responsive midsole foam. They've got a plate called the Power Plate. They've got really nice outsole grip. They're snappy. They're gonna propel you. They're gonna help you get a PB. And they also look really nice. I love the color of these. With the Nitros, I am a big fan. However, they don't fit my wide foot the best. So I would say if you're someone with a wide foot, maybe this shoe is not for you. But otherwise, I think they're a really great shoe. And it's a bit of a shame they don't fit me better because I really do like them. I did do High Rocks London in a different pair of these and they felt really good. I got my fastest ever High Rocks times. For me, they're just a little bit too narrow. Then onto the Adidas Adios Pro 3s. I've got another pair of these under my bed. These are chef's kiss. If you're running a marathon, get yourself a pair of these. These are the best marathon shoe. They are amazing for so many reasons. These are actually the shoe that I did my marathon in. These are super lightweight. They're really breathable. They've got a really lightweight mesh upper. They've got a very responsive midsole foam. They've got carbon in them, which if you're doing a marathon race and you want the best possible time, you're gonna want a carbon plated shoe. And I know there's all the Nikes, Puma also have a carbon plated shoe, but these are so good. They've got carbon rods rather than a plate. So it lines up with the bones in your feet. And I just think it's a really lovely ride. I always am my fastest in these. And if I'm ever having a bad day and I need to get out on a run and just feel good about myself, if I put these on, they just make me feel a different kind of way. And I always enjoy the run. I tried to save them for those days of struggle and for the races because they are a higher price point. I believe these are like £250. So you don't want to wear them down too much because they are a lot softer than your everyday shoes that are a bit more durable. But also, the fact I literally ran a marathon in these and the outsole looks like that is wild to me. But the carbon rods just keep them really stiff. It helps your running economy and you want a pair of these. I do need to do a High Rocks comp in these to see how they stand up. But I always thought maybe the grip wouldn't be good enough. But actually, maybe it would be. This is the same shoe in another colorway. I've actually done a lot more training runs in this because when I was doing my marathon training, I was really struggling to get myself out on those long runs. So a lot of the time I was reaching for these to help my poor legs because I didn't really have my training quite down right. And I was trying to preserve my legs to also train for High Rocks, also do strength training. And I was just being a bit of a crazy person. But if you do want to do a long run and you want a pair of shoes that's gonna help take a bit of that toll out your legs, then these are pretty good, but I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time because like me, you'll wear them down and you should really save them for your special runs because you want to keep these special. I see so many people wearing these like super speed shoes just for their everyday runs and I'm like, you're gonna get yourself injured. There's so many people I know that have got Achilles injuries, calf injuries, super tight calves from wearing carbon plated shoes too much, plantar fasciitis because they're too stiff and they're doing so many miles in them. It is important that you are wearing the shoes in the right way. I'll come on to recommendations after. Adidas Adios Prime X Strungs. These are a beautiful shoe, firstly. These are technically the fastest shoe out of all the ones I've shown you. These would get you the fastest PB. If we were to put them to the test, maybe I should do that one day, but these have 2 layers of that really soft foam that are in the Pro 3s that I showed you before. They've got 2 layers of carbon in them. They're really, really firm. Literally can't bend these. They're really lightweight, and when I did wear them, I did get an incredible PB. I don't wear them too much because they could be a little bit dangerous for someone like me that's got a little bit of instability, but I'm working on that in the gym. I do love them, and if I'm having a bad day and I want to have a nice run, like these will really put a smile on my face. I've not done many miles in them, but the outsole on all of the Adidas trainers just stands out as so much better compared to a lot of other trainers, though the Rad's also pretty good. But if you're someone that wants a shoe that makes you feel sexy fast, then maybe try these, but don't wear them too much because I don't want you getting injured. Trail, I'm not really a trail girl. Like I just said, I did a trail half marathon in my everyday Hokas. You're not really gonna find me running up a mountain. Maybe you will one day, but I do have a couple pairs of trail shoes, and I just wanted to show you this one that I've got because I know a lot of you are trail runners, and I live in the middle of a city and there's not really many trails around me. But these are the New Balance Moors, and not gonna lie, I've not worn them on a trail, but I am gonna just give you a brief overview of my thoughts. Firstly, I don't think I would want to run trail in these because the ankle doesn't seem quite supportive as some of my other everyday shoes. I'd feel more comfortable running in the Hokas or in the Rads because they're a lot more stable. And if you're on a trail, you want that stability around your ankle. The upper seems really nice. You've got the toe protect area. They look cool. The midsole is really chunky and cushy, and you do sink nicely into them. But I don't find the overall experience overwhelmingly great. I just think they're all right. But again, I've only tested them on the pavement in Manchester city centre. The outsole, however, is really grippy. You've got these nice deep lugs, and I could imagine that these would last a long time if you're running in the trails. I did a lot of research when I was trying to buy a new pair of shoes. I got these when I was doing my marathon training, and I just wasn't really that impressed. I don't know if I just don't like the colourway, but I was trying to find a stability shoe that was lightweight, and they're not as lightweight as I was hoping them to be. The Hokas are definitely much better. So I was just a bit disappointed in them, to be honest. And so I've not really worn them, but they could be good. And last but not least, functional trainers. Took me a while to invest in a pair of functional trainers. As someone that was doing bodybuilding and running, which really didn't complement each other, I was wearing Converse in the gym and I was wearing my running shoes for my runs. But now that I train with a more hybrid approach, these shoes are much better and I can actually use them a bit more all round. But generally speaking, I wear these shoes if I'm training in the gym, if I'm doing something that is hybrid, that is maybe that combination of strength with a bit of fitness, but isn't completely a run, I will wear these just because I think you definitely run in either of these shoes, but I would personally prefer to run in a more cushy shoe and a shoe that's a bit more lightweight because these are a little bit heavier and a bit flatter for the reasons that are to follow. So we've got the Nike Metcons. Now, this is my only Nike shoe. I've not actually got many Nike shoes in my lineup just because they don't really enticed me in, and I've not been that impressed by Nike. I think a lot of their shoes look a little bit outdated compared to the newer running trainers that are out there. And I know this isn't a running shoe. This is a shoe that I would typically wear for a functional session or to the gym, but even their running shoes, I've just never really wanted to venture into them. Though I do really want to try some of their speed shoes. I think Nike and Adidas are a little bit similar in that way. Their everyday shoes might not be the best, but their speed shoes just seem to be incredible. And maybe that's because that's what a lot of people are spending their money on. But there's definitely a place for the everyday shoe as well. And I do love an everyday shoe. But talking about the Nike Metcons, I would wear this to the gym. I've worn these for leg sessions. I've worn these for functional sessions. In my functional sessions, I did find that they were really, really flat. And when I was doing box jumps, I was just getting a weird feeling in my heel, but they are really firm. They're really flexible. So they're really great for things like walking lunges and those gym movements where maybe you're doing a lunge or a Bulgarian split squat. You need that movement. They're really great. But I'm not overwhelmed with love for them. I think they're all right. I wouldn't buy them again. And I've actually got a newer shoe that has replaced these for me, which is the Rad Ones. Now, I saw these on so many people and I thought they're a bit ugly. And now I'm obsessed. I think they are incredible. I've kept them in beautiful condition because they literally sit in the bottom of my gym bag and they don't come out until we are in the gym. But I'll wear these for a leg session, I'll wear these for a functional session. And I have done very short amounts of running in them, though if I'm gonna do a workout that contains prolonged periods of running, I would probably not opt for these. But anything that's a bit more strengthy and needs more stability, they are great. They fit really nicely, they're supportive around the ankle, they're really smooth. The material feels really premium. And the outsole rubber just seems super durable. I've worn these loads and there's not a mark on them. So I could imagine that these will last me a long time. And for the people that I know that have worn them, there's so many people that swear by them, especially in the hybrid community. And I just think word of mouth is true on these. They are a really good shoe. And if you're someone that's into your hybrid training, I would definitely recommend getting them and giving them a go, though I probably wouldn't do Hyrox competition in them. I probably would still opt for either my Bostons or potentially the Pro 3s if I ever try one out in them, because Hyrox is a runner's race. But if you're doing a comp that's a bit more strengthy, these would be great. So I'm aware I've shown you quite a few shoes there, and I just wanted to wrap up with my 4 favorites at the moment. So these are the shoes that I would typically reach for if I'm doing a Hyrox session or a Hyrox race or a tempo interval run. I would probably opt for my Boston 12s. If I'm going for an everyday run or even walk into the shop, I will usually pop on my Rad R-1s. I just think they are amazing and they really, really surprised me. So comfy. If I'm doing a race, such as a marathon, a half marathon, I will be wearing my Adidas Adios Pro 3s, and I will be wearing them this weekend at my race, so I best get them packed. If I'm doing a functional session or a strength session, I will wear my Rad Ones. So it looks like Adidas and Rad have really come out on top here. Just before I wrap up, I wanted to give some words of wisdom on finding the right pair of shoes for you, because if you're like me, you're really invested in your health and fitness, you want to find the right pair of shoes, and there's so many shoes out there and everyone's telling you different things. Everyone's got a different opinion. Which shoes do you get? I would always say start by going to your local running store and finding out what kind of shoes work for you. So for me, I've got a wide foot and I've got a bit of pronation, so I need ideally a stability shoe and something that's a bit wider. But generally knowing that I need stability means that I can guide and I can cut out a few shoes along the way and know that I do want something that's a bit more stable. And basically, I don't want you ending up like me, convincing yourself through YouTube videos that this shoe is for you, and you get it and you're very underwhelmed, because that's exactly what happened to me with this shoe. So videos are one thing, but actually trying them out for yourself is another. And I know a lot of brands, Hoka for sure, have a 30-day return period where you can order the shoes, try them on for 30 days and send them back if you don't like them, which I think is really, really helpful. And I think brands should do, because to wear a shoe in the shop versus going on a run in it makes such a difference. And I know a lot of brands will do travel nights with run clubs and they'll do events. And that's also a really good way of trying out new shoes. So maybe have a look out for them, because I know that in Manchester anyway, a lot of brands will do that. But if there's any other questions that you might have on anything running shoe related, then let me know, because I would love to make another one of these videos. So drop me some questions in the comments, and also let me know if there's any trainers that I spoke about today that you're now considering trying. But thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.